Hey guys, welcome. This is Isaac with Randomness, and I'm about to review Half-Life Alyx. But before I get into any of that, I just want to put a spoiler warning here. I am not going to have any spoilers within this review at all. I am going to touch on generic points of it and kind of give you my thoughts on the game as a whole, but I'm not going to be going over any specific plot points or story points. However, the background images are going to be from the game. Now, I'm also going to keep anything major from there. However, you are going to see a variety of the enemies you're going to fight and a variety of the puzzles that you're going to have to solve. Now, the puzzles are going to be simple enough that the ones I show aren't going to give anything major away. But I just wanted to let you know that you are going to see stuff in this video, and if that is too much of a spoiler for you, you should just listen to the review, but don't watch the video. However, if that is not a problem for you, then watch the video to your heart's content as I go over this review. So I'm going to go over the review process really fast because it has been a while. What we have is our own little weighting system, and we review each game and give it scores based on its replayability, story, social, enjoyment, smoothness, and presentation. But we weight each category differently depending on what genre of game it is because, for example, let me scroll up to here on this. On a rhythm game, the story is weighted out of 1 because it's not as important, but the replayability is going to be rated out of 3. Whereas, say, a game that's a campaign game, the replayability isn't as important, so it's only weighted out of 1, but the story is weighted out of 3. And so what we do is we give it a score on all of those, and we'll have a little card we fill out. Yep, you see this card right there? That's the card we fill out, and you'll see that. But then we'll also use those weights to give it a score on the big picture compared to all of the other games we've played. Now, these scores are based off our weighting system, so if you don't want to worry about our weight, you can just look at the score, like the card individually, and decide if that's good enough for you. So today we are reviewing Half-Life Alyx, and that is going to be a campaign game. And so because it's a campaign game, I want to go over all of the weights of the campaign type of game. And so that is replayability, as I said, is a 1, and story is a 3. Now 3 is the highest it can be except for enjoyment, but everything besides enjoyment is weighted out 1 through 3, 1 being the lowest, 2 is neutral, 3 is very important. Social is weighted at a 2, enjoyment is weighted at a 5, and that's because you want to be able to have fun with it. It can do stuff great, it's a great story, but you just don't enjoy it. Smoothness, that's how well the game runs. Are there bugs and stuff? And that one's at a 2 on this one. And then presentation is also put at a 2 on this one on campaign. Now these are where I decided to weight them. Like I said, maybe you guys disagree with that, but I just want to let you know how everything's weighted. So, all of that being said, let's jump right into this review. Half-Life Alyx. Overview. Half-Life Alyx is a really fun game that has amazing puzzle elements, a great story mixed with amazing visuals, and was one of the first major AAA titles in VR. It is super PC intensive, at least supposedly. I mean, I ran it on a 1660 Super, which is a few generations old, not even the top of the line back then. So it does run on some older stuff, and it ran pretty good for me, and I did it wirelessly with virtual desktop. But everyone says it's PC intensive, and you do have to have an alright gaming PC. Anyways, it's a really fun, good game, so you can already see the way this review is going to go. With all that being said, let's give it the first score then, and let's just go down the card. So we've got replayability. And replayability, I gave it a 2. The story is not going to change. There's no branching paths or anything. Once you've played the game, next time you play, it's going to be the exact same playthrough. I mean, you can play harder difficulty and stuff like that, so there is that, but yeah, you're not getting a lot of new stuff out of it next time you play it. Where the replayability comes in is the fact that they have open support for modding tools, and that means you've got lots of Half-Life mods that you can download, and then you can play your own variants of Half-Life. That's all community driven. None of that is made from Valve, but the fact that that's open, that at least gave it a bump up. And if you want to take the time to learn how to mod, there actually is a bit more replayability, but without the mods, it's not very replayable, at least in my personal opinion. Next one is the story, and this one is amazing. I gave this a 5. Half-Life story was amazing. I want to go back and play the old Half-Life a little bit because of how good this story was. I've never played any Half-Life. But after playing this and seeing the story, I got really kind of invested in it. And I just really like the game. I like the story. I like the universe that this is building in and is wrapped around within. So the story is where this game shines. If you want a good campaign, you want a really good story, it could be the game for you. In fact, I'd say this probably is the game for you, especially with how limited a supply these kind of games are in VR. The next one is the social element. And I put this one out of 1. I mean, I could kind of do it too because, like I said, the modding support, but not really. Because there's no leaderboards. Everything you do that you get it from mods is still going to be single player, at least as far as I know. And, again, that would be mods. That wouldn't be from Valve. There's just nothing social within this game. Now, that's not super important with the campaign game. I would have liked a co-op mode or something, so it could have added something to it. That being said, it's still a good game, and I wouldn't dock it too much for that. But it is a 1 when it comes to its social element. The next category is enjoyment. And on this one, I gave it a 5, notwithstanding the social replayability to download. The story was amazing, and some of the next couple categories that we're going to go over got high scores. And it was just a really fun game. I found myself really immersed. I found myself wanting to go back more. I mean, it took me like half a year to play through it all, but that's because I was doing it on live stream, so I couldn't just play it on my own time. I would have done this in a week or 2. If I was doing it on my own time. So this game is amazing. It will immerse you. You won't want to put it down. It mixes everything together good. There's a lot of really good puzzles that you're going to be solving. You're going to be fighting. You're going to just be doing so much. The one thing I will say is the fighting does get a little repetitive at times, but then they introduce a new enemy, and then you fight that one, and you get used to it, and they introduce a new enemy. With all that being said, let's move on to the next one, which is smoothness. How well does it run? And I gave it a 4 on this one. There were a little bit of hiccups there and here and there. They didn't have the smooth locomotion with your hand track or via hand tracking set up the best. Where some games have it so your hand never needs to go at an up-down angle. This one doesn't do that. Now, I ended up just having to do head tracking, which is okay. I prefer hand, but I kept finding myself lifting my hand up for stuff in game and then going all random directions and having to switch it to head. That's one of the only issues. There's, like I said, a couple little small hiccups here and there, but nothing major. It's a solid 4, bordering on 5 on its smoothness. Presentation, I gave that one a 5. Like I said, it has stunning visuals. Every step of the way is amazing. I love the way they did the story with them talking. There's no dialogue boxes that you have to scroll through. And I'm okay with some, but I hate when you have endless reading to do or whatever. They had good voice actors. Everything was done amazing on the presentation. Nothing to complain about there. So with all that being said, what is the final score that this game earned? And that is 8.2. So you can see here, it isn't the top of all these, but like I said, that's all depending on how you accept the weights and whatnot. But it did pretty good. 8.2 is a solid score. It's definitely a game I would suggest you check out and play. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Half-Life Alyx. What did you guys think? Are there any points you would disagree with? If there are, leave them down in the comments. And guys, check out other people's points of view. Go in the comments. You might be like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe it is for me, or maybe it's not for me because something is horrible. I don't know. Anyways, thank you all for watching. This was Isaac with Randomness. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and smash the bell so you get notifications. Smash the like button. Smash all the buttons down there. Leave all the comments down there. And peace!